Let's have a look at these unique tomatoes here. Nobody else in the world has these tomatoes. Or these tomatoes. Or these. Or these. And that's because 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to create my own tomato. Later in this video, I'm going to show you how I created my own tomato. I'm going to show you how to cross-pollinate tomatoes. It's pretty easy, and maybe you'll find it to be a fun experiment creating your own tomato. To create your own tomatoes, you're going to need to take the pollen from one heirloom tomato and mix it into the flower of another heirloom tomato. I didn't exactly do that. I ended up taking the pollen from a Black Beauty tomato, which is an heirloom, and I used a Cherry Bomb F1 hybrid as my female. Now the Cherry F1 hybrid is a hybrid, so it has some very random genetics mixed in. So in doing so, I wasn't too sure what was going to happen. But the Cherry Bomb has late blight resistance, which is something I was looking for in the tomato I was going to create. As far as the Black Beauty, I just wanted to get some of the black coloration onto my tomatoes. Since the Cherry Bomb was my female host plant, this is what the fruit looked like the year after cross-pollination. Looks like a regular cherry bomb, but inside here we have cross-pollinated seeds. Cross-pollination only affects next year's fruit if you take the seeds and regrow it. Doesn't do anything the first year, still gonna taste the same. So 2 years ago, when I did the pollination, and then I took that tomato when it was ripe, saved the seeds, well then last year we grew those seeds out. And we ended up with some really cool looking oversized cherry tomatoes with some black on them that were definitely blight resistant. And they tasted great. They tasted better than the cherry bombs, they taste better than the Black Beauties. So overall, great success. And there's the problem. You save seeds from those tomatoes and plant them out again, you never know what you're gonna get. It takes several years for new tomatoes to stabilize. So what I did was I went around, I picked the best looking plants, best looking tomatoes of 4 different plants. I labeled them and I grew those out. And then now we have the F2 generation here. So we have plant A from the seeds I saved, giving me these tomatoes that look pretty similar to the ones from last year, except for they have a little more black on them. Plant B. Look at this, it's almost like a tie-dye pattern of the black on there. They're not exactly cherry shaped like these ones. They're almost like mini slicing tomatoes. They look pretty cool. Problem with this is, look at it, they get so heavy that all of these are cracking under the weight of holding these. Plant C kind of looks like the other ones, but that black is more dispersed throughout the whole tomato, just making it a darker shade of red. And finally, D over here, another one that has so much weight that these are breaking down. Definitely not cherry tomatoes. And they're a little bit bigger. They're almost full-size tomatoes on here. I bet if I trim some of these off, they would grow a lot bigger. But nonetheless, they look pretty cool. And I really like how they look before they're even ripe. Just a little bit of extra color added to the garden. So look at all these guys. Pretty cool being able to create your own tomato. They do taste good. I've had some of these. But now what do? Now we have these different plants with different looking tomatoes on each of them. The end goal is to be able to grow tomatoes out, save the seeds, and have it grow true to seed every time. So within these tomatoes, we have what is called F3. It'll be the 3rd generation of growing these out. I think what I'm going to do in this situation, since I do like all these tomatoes, I like how they're different, except for maybe this one here. I'm going to save the seeds from these, and we're going to give them a unique name. The next year, we're going to grow those seeds out, see what happens. We're going to keep doing this every single year till we finally get a product that grows true to seed, and then we're going to give it a cool name. What would you name this cool tie-dye guy here? Let me know in the comments. Just so cool knowing you have something that nobody else in the world has. So let's talk about how to do this. Step 1, you're going to want to find your host plant. Let's make it this plant over here for the video's purpose. So if I want this plant to be my female that I'm going to pollinate, here's a very important step because tomatoes are extremely self-fertile. They start pollinating before the flowers even open. What you gotta do is, you're gonna wanna find a flower that is not open yet, but about to open. We look over here, this guy that I'm touching with my finger there, that one right there is what I'd wanna use. So for the purpose of this video, I have pulled the flower off the plant. I'm gonna show you how to do it here. So all these flower petals, we need to take them off with a pair of tweezers. This part right here is the hardest part, but you gently pluck that whole setup off, and what you're left with here is that little line thing right there. I grabbed another one here that had something for me to grab onto, but right where the tweezers are, that is the pistil with the stigma on the very end of it. Now what you got to do is find some tomato flowers that are already open. They're actively producing pollen. You take these and you can tap them, touch them there. You're trying to get the pollen right at the end, right there. All it takes is a little bit of pollen to fall out and you're good to go. You want to come out and do this every day for about a week, because there's a chance that this one, since it wasn't open yet, might not be receptive, but it will become receptive in that time period. So then what happens, just like any tomato, the tomato will form at the bottom here, grow into a tomato, and once that is ripe, you can save seeds from it. So there's a little work there, about a week's worth of work, and it does require some steady hands working with that pistil, because it is easy to knock that pistil off and then your project isn't going to happen. A good way to tell if your pollination actually took is, you see how thin these stems are? If your flower gets pollinated, it gets really thick shoulders on top here, and then you'll start seeing the tomato form. If it stays thin and starts getting loose and falls off, well, you know it didn't work. It's a good idea why you should do several of these in case some don't take. At least you'll get some to work. Then you save your seeds, you grow them out, get your very own tomato, give her a taste test. That is a sweet tomato. I hope this tutorial helps some people out to create their own tomatoes. If you want to see what happens with my tomatoes in the F3 generations and beyond, make sure you subscribe, because we'll probably talk about this every year till we get something that's stable and have seeds to offer to everyone. Thanks for watching.